the best sales questions. Now, if you put that in Google, you're probably going to get hundreds of results with hundreds of different questions, and we simply cannot ask hundreds of questions in one single meeting. So today I have compiled a list of 6 of the most powerful sales questions ever that you can use and leverage them to steer a conversation to get what you want out of your meetings today. Right, let's get into it. Okay, so let's paint a picture. This is the first time that you're on a sales call with a potential client or a prospect, regardless of whether you're on Zoom or you're doing this face-to-face. Sales and meetings can be very, very daunting when we are first starting out. And we need to have a plan. We need to have an idea of what we are going to say to steer the conversation to achieve whatever we want to achieve out of that meeting, whether that's a sale or whether that's booking another meeting so our superior can go ahead and close that person. Whatever it is, we need to set our sights on the goal that we are trying to achieve and come up with a bit of a script or a framework that we are going to follow throughout this meeting. Now, if you need help putting together a script, I've put together a ton of content on my channel, which I'll put links for, and you can go and watch that after this video. But today I'm going to run through some really clever and powerful questions that you can use in meetings to guide the conversation the way you want. But one of the first things I want to talk about is how to overcome the fear of asking questions in a meeting. Because more often than not, fear and anxiety is what stops us from asking these pressing questions we need to ask to allow us to have success in our meetings. Now, there are a few things that we can do to alleviate anxiety when it comes to setting meetings. And the first thing that we can do is be as prepared as possible. I know what you're thinking, Jordan, well done, be prepared. That's good advice, right? But what do we actually need to do? We need to write down as many notes as we possibly can, fuel that we can use in that actual meeting, ammunition that we can throw at this person. So whatever it is we are trying to sell, let's try and say we are a marketing agency and we're trying to sell a digital marketing service. I need to understand what this company are doing at the moment. What have they done historically? What can I learn about them? What products do I think would sell well through digital advertising? What strategies do I think, or services do I think would be suitable for them? I'm gonna write all of that down so I'm taking away the guesswork when I'm actually speaking to that client. Now, we also need to be prepared for their objections. It's gonna be very rare that you go into a meeting and the person you're selling to just says yes without giving you any pushback whatsoever. So when you are starting to sell in a new industry, a new product or service to a new kind of person, write down all of the possible things that that person could say to you to essentially say no or to push back and test you. Then next to that question or that pushback, write down your answer for that overcomes the issue. So we are overcoming their objections and their rejections before we have actually got on the meeting, and subconsciously and psychologically, that is going to allow us to be a lot more relaxed and upbeat on the meeting because we're not worried about situations we haven't actually prepared for. And that's another thing we need to do. We need to be relaxed. We need to be upbeat. We need to remember that we have nothing to lose by jumping on this meeting apart from a little bit of our time. If we jump on any sales call and we don't get the close, we don't get the sale, we have literally not lost anything since before we were on that meeting. And so we need to remind ourselves of this. We have nothing to lose, nothing to be fearful of. So relax, drop your shoulders, speak to somebody informally, speak to them like you're speaking to a friend, build some rapport, and remember, there is nothing to lose from jumping into this and everything to gain. So, there's a bonus lesson for you. Now, quickly before we get into these 6 questions, if this is the first video you've watched of mine, you don't know who I am, then my name is Jordan Platten. I own Affluent.co. We're a multi-platform digital marketing agency based here in the UK, and I've personally closed millions in new revenue for our group of companies using a multitude of sales techniques. Cold calling, door-to-door, DMs, emails. Believe me, I've tried the lot. And you're in safe hands today because I'm going to reveal 6 questions that I personally use in our sales meetings, questions that I have used to close clients for over $50,000 a month in reoccurring revenue. So let's do this. Okay, so number 1 is, what are your desired outcomes from this meeting and our service? Now, this question puts the ball in our potential customers or potential clients' court. We are allowing them to think about what it is that they want to achieve out of this meeting, and we're using reverse psychology on them. Even if this is a completely cold meeting and we reached out to this person completely cold, this is the first time they have spoken to us, it's going to allow them to sell themselves to us a little bit. They're going to say, well, Jordan, do you know what? What I really want out of this is I want to start working with an agency that can actually get results. I don't want to waste time, and I want to be on this meeting nice and quick, and let's get straight to the point. They're going to tell me what to expect from them straight away so I can steer the meeting and cater it to their desires and their goals. You could be selling a recruitment service and the prospect could say to you, hey, look, do you know what? I want 30% more candidates in our design department. And straight away, you know exactly what they want and you can use that and steer your pitch around achieving that exact same thing. Number 2, do you struggle with pain point? And if so, how long have you been struggling with this issue? For example, do you struggle with inconsistent ads? And if so, how long have your ads been inconsistent for? So what we are trying to do here is we're trying to find out what are their biggest issues. What are the issues that they are facing within their business and do they align with the solution that we are trying to provide for them? Moreover this, we're trying to find out how long they have been suffering with this problem because we can really dive deep into what problems it would cause within their company if, for example, they don't solve that issue. If somebody says to me like, Jordan, I've been getting inconsistent ad results for 6 months now, it's doing our head in. I'm like, well, how much have you spent over the last 6 months? And I'm trying to establish how much money is this company wasting? Well, how much longer can you afford to continue wasting X amount every 6 months? And so we can start throwing across additional questions that counter what they have said, that allow them to think deeper into the problem and make it a bigger issue in their mind so we can provide them with a solution. And that solution is a lot more attractive to them because it's attached to the problem that they validated themselves. Number 3, can you tell me more about that? People love to be listened to. Now, when we're speaking to someone for the first time, we need to build rapport as quickly as possible. We need to gain their trust. And so the best thing we can do is ask them questions about the things they are telling us about. Show interest in what they are trying to explain to us. For example, if somebody says to me, Jordan, do you know what? I'm just sick to death of working with marketing agencies that don't deliver on their results. I say, Brian, do you know what? I completely understand what you're saying. Can you tell me more about your experience with other agencies? So I'm digging deeper into the issues that that person is having so they can explain these issues to me again so we can gain as much ammunition as possible and we can provide solutions to that person. But even if we're not gaining ammunition from this meeting, at the very least, we are conversing with our prospect, we are gaining their trust, and they are building rapport with us. We're having friendly conversation, which is leading to the ultimate goal of solving a problem with our product or our service. Number 4, are you with me so far? Or as I like to say, do you know what I mean? Now, it's very important we check in with people throughout the conversation that we are having with them to make sure they are understanding and following with us. The last thing that we want to do is get to the end of a pitch and have somebody have a whole bunch of questions based on things that we could have literally answered right at the start of the conversation. So I always say, do you know what I mean? Are you following me? Throughout a conversation with a prospect. So it gives them the opportunity to say, actually, no, do you know what? Can you just clarify this point? We can make sure they are following us like for like. Now, in addition to this, some people zone out sometimes, okay? If they're listening to something that isn't wholeheartedly interesting, or maybe they've had a distraction, saying, do you know what I mean? Are you following me? Are you with me? It actually gives them this mental wake-up call. It's like, oh shit, okay, I'm not actually listening right now. Let me get back to the task at hand. And it allows you to grab their attention back if they got distracted previously. So use that as a check-in throughout your meetings. Number 5, how are you currently meeting your needs? And what's now causing you to want to make a change? Now, this question is better suited right near the start of a meeting. And we ask this because the majority of people who have accepted some kind of meeting with us, regardless of our product or service, they are some point along the buyer's journey already. The chances are they've only accepted to have an actual meeting with us because they know they need, in their heart, what we are actually trying to provide for them. If I'm offering someone an ad service, they may be already working with an agency. If they're not working with an agency, they're probably running the ads themselves. And for whatever reason, they are not converting. So I need to establish that the pain of their ads not working is greater than the chore of moving over and switching to a new agency. And so this question allows us to do that. We need to establish what they are currently doing so we can counter what they're doing, pick holes in what they're doing, throw stones at what they are currently doing, offer a better solution, and establish they have the desire to actually make the change. Now, a bonus question to this is, what's going to happen if you don't make this change? Because we want to make our prospect think about what happens if they stay in the current position they're at. Are they going to continue to waste more money? Are they going to get more mental headaches? Are they not going to grow their business? Is it going to make their business fail in the long run? So we need them to think about their pain points. What is actually going to happen if I don't make this decision? I really should make this decision on this call right now. And finally, number 6. We've helped so many people that have been struggling with solution. Do you feel like you can relate to that? So I've started saying we've helped so many people that are struggling with tracking issues. Do you feel like you can relate to that? And what it allows us to do is bring up pain points that person hasn't yet raised with us. We're saying, I've noticed so many other people having issues with their ads at the minute. Like, have you been having the same issue with your ad tracking? It's a nightmare, isn't it? And you can start having this conversation about that individual topic and how you have a solution to overcome that issue. And that's what we got. So if you're having issues with iOS 14 tracking issues, you need to get in touch with the F1 agency, okay? Link in the description. So yeah, bring up a pain point that maybe they haven't brought up yet that you know you can overcome, and it's a great opportunity for you to sell something that you haven't had the chance to sell yet on that call. So that is the end of this video. That is 6 of the most powerful sales questions that you can use in any meeting to steer the conversation and get the sale. Hope you have enjoyed this video. If this is the first video you've watched, smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Oh, go ahead and watch all the rest of our sales videos on the channel. You get a lot of help from them. Cheers, guys. Cheers.